Alright guys, Melissa here. Just lost my earring. I went to go flip my hair and my earring came off. Anyways, what I want to talk about. I will be having more stuff on my marriage channel, but I wanted to talk about how men feel close to you ladies. So I'm talking in the context of marriage, right? So when you have sex with your husband, the way men feel close is by releasing in you. And I was listening to Jordan Peterson last night, and what he was saying was so true. So men need a place that they can be totally unguarded and totally let go with you. What do I have on my shirt? I don't know. Um, so what happens is when you have sex, they're performing all day. They have to be at their best all the time in the world. They fight the dragon, so to say. But when they come home, they want a castle. They want you to be there for them. And when they have sex with you, it is a moment that they feel like they can release. They can just be themselves. They can be unguarded. They can be vulnerable. And it's the place the man shows himself who he is more than anywhere else in the world is when he is having sex with you. And especially, if you have that eye contact with him in the moment of his most vulnerable moment of his being, um, that is when he feels the bonding with you. And of course, men can, there's a lot of pretty women, and looks only go so far. They only go so far. What's under the hood is more important. So when men are married and they've made that choice to say, you're the one out of all the women in the world I want to be with, when you are married and having sex, it should be on a regular basis. They say a lot of people feel like, sex is a temptation outside of marriage. And when you're married, the devil tempts you not to have sex. So sex should be on a regular basis. You want to keep it interesting, you want to keep it fun. I used to have a lot of different lingerie outfits to make sure that, I kept his interest, but even then, he's like, I like you better without anything on. So, it doesn't take a lot for a man to just, want you. I mean, you already are the mother of his kids. You've already had sex. You know, there should be, sex should be the ultimate like icing on the cake together. So when you have sex, usually a man will hold you after. He wants to stay. He wants to be close. If you embrace that and you enjoy, that with him, that makes him feel even more manly. But if you withdraw and you're like, okay, got things to do, that was fun, great, let's move on, it can bring doubt in his life and it can make him feel insecure. So, you wanna hug your man and you wanna let him hug you, and that's where the bonding is. And my husband used to be like, you know what? This is when I feel closest to God, is when I am with you. So there is a spiritual side, there's an emotional, a physical, psychologically, he's bonding with you. That is not going to go away with a divorce. Um, and that's why, marriage is meant to be for good. One man and one woman for good. And of course, when you're young ladies, you don't understand this. You're way too young to date. You do not know any of this. So when I was like, what was I, 15? My dad was like, nope, she's too young to date. And my mother was like, well, everyone else is doing it. And, so I was definitely too young. And I was talking to a woman yesterday and we were talking about men, and I had shared the abortion. I didn't even know what it was, and she's like, you don't know what they do to you. No idea, guys. So think back, if I was 15 and thinking of what this kind of stuff meant in a marriage back at 15, there's no way girls understand all this. So usually though, when you hook up when you're young, when you're 16, 17, you're usually going to last for a long time. So my husband and I were together since he was 16. It is a time that you grow and you learn about each other. And yes, the physical attraction is there very powerfully when you're younger, but as you get older, there's the friendship, there's the memories, there's everything else. So this should be the closest bond he has in his whole life is with his woman, because there is the leaving of your parents. And if you cannot leave your parents, you cannot bond with your wife. So you have to, and I'm not talking about always physically being gone, but you have to be able to be there with your woman, put her first, know that the bonding takes, precedence. That's why God made marriage the way he did. And marriage is honorable among all people. So marriage is a gift and it should be treated like one. And when you have a wife, it talks about in Proverbs that a wife is a gift. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing. It doesn't say what kind of wife she is for the most part. It just says he found a wife and he's found a good thing. So it doesn't mean, ladies, that you have to be perfect in any way for a man to want you. Doesn't mean you have to have the perfect body. It doesn't mean that you have to, if you have like I don't know, say a birthmark, not that I do, but if you had a birthmark on your leg, or you might have a little spot on your forehead or something. I have a chicken pox scar somewhere on my face. I don't know, it's lightened up. You don't have to be perfect, okay? So, when a man wants you and you're married, it's the number one thing that should be protected in your life. And make sure that he feels like a man when you're having sex, and that you are making sure that you are assuring him that he has done a great job. And that includes making sure that you are pleasured or pleased too. And that is not selfish. I know when I started off being married, I felt like it was more for him. And then later on, you realize, no, be selfish, because a man actually does want to please you. So I'm going to be talking more stuff like this on my marriage channel, talking more about sex and relationship, and how important it is to men to have that intimacy. And do not deny him that, because that is extremely important to a man, ladies.